a line that says, I don't know, bagels and cream cheese with lox. Okay, if you just test that line of writing, you have no way of knowing what you're testing.
Well, maybe my body somehow reacts bad to gluten.
No.
No, it reacts to the ink that's on that paper.
Yeah.
When you do that test, and possibly to the person who printed the ink, and that's the limit.
Okay.
Now, if you get that, you will
Yeah, yeah.
know the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, you and then you. We will get to you, but I know you're
Okay.
like a separate
No, it's
entity.
okay. No, it's on this
Okay.
side.
And it's also the same principle then if you have a medication, you don't have the medication, but you have the packing information. It's also not.
No.
No packing information.
This is no pack, okay?
No,
No
that's
packing.
really, that's an excellent also follow-up.
Yeah.
No, the packing information has print on it about that,
Yeah.
but it is not that, and has no reality of it in the packing information.
Okay.
That is a very good question. He gets reacted, so people are afraid to ask, but I'm really glad you asked.
No, I don't, you know, we don't know.
No,
we
no.
just
Yeah,
want to know.
That's why it's so
but
good.
You are the only one ask this openly. Other people hasten to ask.
Yeah, because they know.
Yeah, because you yell.
Thank you, Vaita.
And I'm not scared because you're so wonderful.
We love you, Dr. Okay, now we have John Robbins.
My question has been bugging me for a long time. Okay, on the hand-foot writings, we write in a particular box. Okay, that's to define that. Okay, understand that. But there's all these other printed things on there, like acetylcholine or whatever. And I was wondering if you use that writing that's on there in any way, or is that just there to remind you, or is that?
Just to remind.
Okay, that's what. So there's no testing of that.
No, absolutely.
That-
If I test every one of them, I have no time to even examine one patient.
I understand, and that's what, from the first time I saw that, I was wondering, and his question kind of triggered that, because I didn't think that the printing would have anything there, which you validated now. Okay, good.
I think it's good you asked that, because
Yeah.
it's another example of the same thing.
Exactly.
A menu at a restaurant, information about the prescription, you
Yeah.
know, and this, yeah.
Well, particularly, if the drug company put some good things and this is believed, and your orange test is happens to be positive,
Yeah.
it could be completely toxic and make you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's unreliable. That's why we don't want you to do things that are unreliable. Okay, anything out you?
There's a machine called a Zyto machine, and it's based on vibrational signatures, like everything is a signature, like a pharmaceutical or a nutraceutical has a signature. They also, this is with the confusion, they will sometimes use a written name of a pharmaceutical or nutraceutical if they don't have the actual thing. And the Zyto does that. That's I don't know how accurate it is, but that's
Totally
what the confusion is.
unreliable,
Yeah.
based on what we just shared.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a common practice in that.
Okay, but I want you to be clear about the
Yeah.
truth. It's
Yeah.
not whether it's common practice or
Right.
not.
Well, it's confusing because there's certain things that have been done, and we don't always know what's the right thing.
But I'm trying to tell you,
What's the
this
right
is a
thing, yeah.
principle you
Yeah.
can use, that you'll never be
Yeah.
confused.
Correct.
Okay, listen, Einstein had a theory of relativity.
Right.
There were 200 experts who wrote letters. They had PhDs saying, his theory is bad, it's ugly, it's reprehensible, it's deplorable. And Einstein said, I don't need 200 letters denouncing my work. All I need is one fact.
Yeah.
Okay? That's how you have to think here.
Mhm.
It's scientific.
Right.
Okay, so if you make up stuff, like you just put a letter and then you test that person,
Right.
it's so far beyond what's realistic.
Yeah.
We don't want you to do that.
Correct,
It
yeah.
puts a
Well, it
bad
does
reputation.
contaminate his work. It contaminates his work. I understand
Contaminates
it,
his
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
There's a big difference in the Zyto product, because when you use that,
Hey,
you
listen,
can never.
don't
use
talk
it.
about that product because it's,
Yeah, you
she
and I
already
had a
gave us
discussion about
reason.
that.
It's totally different than what Elmira does.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, so
Right, right.
Yeah.
let's forget about it.
Would it be helpful to share my mistake that I
Sure,
told you
feel
about?
free to share.
Okay, all right, so, I've been attempting to master this for some time, and, it's been very frustrating, because I must be a slow learner. And I've had difficulty with my hands being able to do the testing, so I discovered this very special way that I had, that I would hold it against my body and then test. And I thought this was very clever, but it was wrong, because a lot of the things I tested positive was because I may have been a +12, but what I was testing against my body may have been a -3, and it tested positive because of my state. And that's where I've made errors. So I'm recommitting to do the quantitative testing that Dr. Omura teaches, no matter how hard it is, because what I've been doing, you know, I've slid by, but I see now that I really shot myself in the foot.
Interesting.
You know, because I would make sure I had my D3 before I go out and get vegetables and stuff. You know, so I was again a +12, and I'm selecting all these things, and they may have been less than positive, but I didn't know that.
And that was because you held it next to you?
Yes, yeah, right, you know,
Okay.
and I was doing that with a lot of different things. Now, sometimes it might be okay, like I was testing hair color, it was like 10 bottles of hair color. And it was the same bottle, but it's not like you can open it up and test it. So that's where, if I had a whole bunch of the same thing, it might be valid testing.
It's not valid.
Well,
You may be testing all the bottles.
yeah, that's true. All right, so,
What you're doing
Scratch
is
that,
you're
yeah.
letting it affect you and
Right,
hurt you.
right.
And then you're testing from a
Correct.
lower perspective.
yes, and that was very inaccurate. I thought it was quite clever, but I will
Yeah.
take it back as being stupid.
But, I mean, Andy, weren't you doing this actually yesterday with the pills, or with the alkaline products? You have to test it on yourself. So you have to take it in the hand, and you have to test yourself and see if it goes up or if it opens or not. So actually, what Karen was doing is for me as though she was doing that. She was taking something in her hand and testing to see if she was still strong or not.
Yeah, okay, I want to answer that.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to answer it with this bag of tea that I just got from my wife last night. The reason my wife didn't come to tell you about how wonderful Dr. Omura is because of our dog still living is that she's sick. She has this flu. So she's been taking stuff and, you know, doesn't want to come here. I don't want her to come here either for that. So she had this tea given to her by her doctor, and she wanted me to check it. So I put the tea, first of all, it comes in the foil, so I didn't trust the foil. I took out the tea bag, and I pointed to the tea, and my O-ring definitely closes, okay? So I say, this is potentially a good tea. Actually, it's good. So then I held it in my hand like this, okay? Everything opens, okay? I want you to think about why.
So
What-
it's a positive T, but for you, it's not.
No,
No?
this is positive for me, okay? So when I hold it,
Show me how do you hold it?
I hold the whole thing like this. I was holding,
Yeah.
okay, like this,
Mm.
and then minus.
I think the tea
Can I
bag is
answer?
bad.
I can answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you shouldn't eat it.
I want you to think about it. This has to do with the dose. This is an overdose if I ate all this powder, and that's what I'm exposing myself to, and it will test negative because it's unrealistic to put all that into my body.
But
So
yeah,
should you put the tea bag in water and test it?
Well, then, yeah,
No, I
so.
mean, ideally, in the condition, in the drinking condition.
Exactly,
Yeah,
And the drinking material we test.
exactly.
Yeah.
So in other words, you make a tea out of it, then you see it. Because this is an intermediary substance. And so I told her she was, because she felt worse, and yet she also felt better. Well, she had the tea bag in the cup for maybe hours, I don't know. It's way too much extraction of way too much material. So I told her, just dunk it in, you know, maybe for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then it'll probably be okay. But that was a projection. The ideal thing is for me to make the tea and then test the actual consumable liquid.
Fascinating.
But what Karen was doing, she said she had something in her hand, and when it tested positive, then she said, okay, it's doing good for me.
Yes.
But she said if she was plus 12 and this food was minus 3, and they're still positive because she had positive energy, that doesn't make sense to me. That it must, when she was positive and she tested positive in her hand.
I'm sorry, I did not hear that. She said when she was plus 12 and she tested something, it was what?
When she said she is plus 12 and then she took something in her hand and she tested to herself,
Yes.
and she tested and it was for her still positive. And she said this was her mistake. But it's not a mistake. For me, if you have something in your hand
No.
and you're testing yourself,
And you know, with our testing of the polarization of the biophotons, that if we put something close to the head, the body reacts as if we take it away. And if we put it underneath, it is as if you make an addition to the body. This is very clear, and you can show this again and again.
yes.
So why change a way that works by using a different application
Yeah,
mode?
yeah, see, I was
You
wrong
have
about
to
that.
you have to validate this application
Yeah.
mode. You have to make tests and proofs that this validation, that this way to test is also right.
Okay, let me show you.
Yes.
Yes.
It's the opposite too. In some cases, a small amount doesn't work, but you add a little bit, and now it becomes strong.
Of course, yeah.
That's
Well,
like the
because
opposite.
it's below an optimal dose. You
Right.
see, everything has a curve that's
Yeah.
bell-shaped.
Right.
And when you get the exact amount that has the best response, and as he was saying, it's the best resolution, you can trust it, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
When you're on the early part of the curve, it could be too small an amount, and here is too big an amount.
I was amazed.
And
when I discovered that.
both are useless.
Yeah. yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. Are we talking about the same thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here is a liquid. It says 40,000 volts electrolyte concentrate. It's basically trace minerals and also some larger minerals like calcium, magnesium, electrolytes. Okay, if I test this for me, and I just do it near the bottle because it's a liquid, then it's test negative. Okay, why? Well, I don't know why, but it's test negative. Now I pull back. Okay, so for me, this is really negative right now, okay? But often, at some distance, it will test positive. Okay, not for me right now, okay? So, first of all, I have some tea in my hand that's affecting me, and so forth. But often, when we test something too close, like a whole bottle, there's so much information here, it's an overdose if you come too close. And then you back off, it'll be a strong positive.
It's a dilution factor.
It's kind of a dilution factor, based on the square of the distance. Okay, then you say, okay, that's potentially positive because it turned, like that thing for me is positive from here. Okay, let's do it. Right here it changes. Right here it's positive. Right here it's negative. So that doesn't mean anything, whatever the distance is. But the further away it tests positive, it means too concentrated. It's beyond the optimal dose. Then you take it, then you open it and take a pill, and you see how much of that pill will make me the strongest. Okay, may I do that?
Of course,
Okay.
it's James.
Good, yeah, this is good.
So this one is tested potentially positive. Now I hold the entire amount, and
Diana,
it's minus, strong minus.
can you give me a chart so I can work while
Oh,
in the,
that's a good idea.
yeah, in the table?
Okay, hold on a second.
The one we have to testing.
Where?
I know.
In the folder, in
That's
alphabetical
pretty clear, I
order.
understand.
Thank you. I'll do it.
All in
Yeah.
alphabetical
Yeah.
order.
It's
Yeah.
your body tells you that it's really